once you realize that trigonometry has to do with sides and angles in triangles, and that we said there's lots of sides and angles. There was 6 altogether, 3 sides, 3 angles. One of them's a right angle. That leaves 2 other angles. Now, depending on which angle you're talking about, the sides are in different positions relative to where it is. You actually learned a name for this particular side a couple of years ago. It's kind of a weird word. It's not weird if you're a Greek who lived several thousand years ago, but I guess it's maybe possibly a little strange now. What do you call that longest side, or the one that's across from the right angle? The hypotenuse. Good, okay. So that one is the hypotenuse no matter what we do here, right? If I twist it around, turn it around, the triangle around, the hypotenuse is always the one across from the right angle. But for trigonometry, the other 2 sides, we're going to give them names relative to where the angle is that we're talking about. So if we happen to be talking about this angle. So my analogy here is think about if this is a room, a triangular shaped room. Okay? So let's think about this as a triangular shaped room here. Actually, let's leave the word hypotenuse there. That would help. If this is you're standing right here in this triangular shaped room. And you seem to have a giant head, but that's okay. And you're happy because it's not very often you're in a triangular shaped room. So if you're in that corner of the room and you had to say that you had to name one of the walls as the opposite wall, which wall would you name? Which wall would be the opposite wall? I guess looking at the room from above, you're lying down now, but which one's the opposite wall? This one, right? That one way over there? Like if I'm standing in the room here and I'm standing against this wall of the room, where's the opposite wall? It's that one, right? If I was going to say, if you're in this triangular room, so this one's the opposite side. Opposite. If you had to name one of the sides the adjacent side, which one would you call the adjacent side? Is there how many sides are there that are adjacent to where you're standing? Well, there's one that we're going to call the adjacent. There's actually 2 sides that are next to you, right? The word adjacent just means beside or next to. There's actually this side and this side, but one of them's already got a name, right? It's called the hypotenuse, so we don't want to call that the adjacent side. Of the 2 that we want to give names to, this one is adjacent to where you are, right? So that one's adjacent. So we're going to call that adjacent and that one opposite. Now, if because you're so excited to be in the triangular room, you ran to this corner here, what's going to happen if you go to that corner? Is everything still okay? It's all good? What's wrong with it now? Yeah, this is now not opposite anymore, right? Like if I walk to the other side of the room, that wall's not the opposite wall anymore. The where I just was is the opposite wall. So that has to go up there. When you label the sides or look at the sides of a triangle, it matters which angle you're looking at it from. This is the first key thing to be able to do, is to be able to label the sides or look at the sides of a triangle with those from that point of view. Okay? You can use the letters H, O, and A if you want, or whatever, but you should be able to label the triangle or at least see which side's which based on it in a right angle triangle. Okay? Now, I'm hoping that you've gotten to, as you look down here, whoops, before we do that,